on another Wheelchair Wednesday. I'm your host, Wheelchair Rick, T3, T4, paraplegic myself. And today we're going to interview somebody from the great state of Minnesota. But, as always, before we get to her, let's go ahead and roll the intro. Welcome to Wheelchair Wednesdays. All right, everybody, let's welcome our next guest here to Wheelchair Wednesdays, Miss Charlotte Spensley. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Doing great. Well, first off, just want to say thanks for joining us in this crazy little venture we got going. Why don't you go ahead, introduce yourself, tell people what they all want to know, how did it happen, and like your level of injury. Go ahead.
Well, I was on a outing with my work coworkers and I dove into a lake. I felt my head hit the bottom of the lake and that was it. All I heard was them yelling, "Can you feel, are you okay? Are you okay?" I thought I was shaking my head, but I wasn't. And now I'm a C5-6 quad.
And when was this?
This was back in 2006. So I'm
Oh, okay.
17 post-injury.
All right. So you've been down for quite a while. I would say just off the rip, since 2006 to now, would you say it's gotten a lot better as far as like the, you know what I mean? Like the way you can go about medicine and like, rehab, stuff like that.
Technology has come,
Technology. Yep.
is so far more advanced. I mean, when you have spinal stimulation, things like that are available, people that are incompletes that are actually taking steps now, where that wasn't possible in '06.
Right. Right. Um, this is a weird question that I always ask, and you've seen this before, so you know what it is would you walk again if you could, which means if you could go back that day and stop yourself from getting injured, would you go ahead and live that life on, or would you stay where you're at?
I think I would have to go back. I I feel like I missed out raising my children, and I don't want to miss that. I didn't want to miss it. I mean, I was here, but not with them doing the things that we would as a family do.
Right. Right. Understandable. Everybody's got a different outlook on it, and for you, you know what I mean? It's just that type of thing where you'd be like, I'd go back, I'd redo it all.
Well, I'd bring a few things with me. My power to charge on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you just you have to get up either day every day. Doesn't matter as long as you're breathing. You have to wake up,
Right.
no matter what you're in.
Let me ask you this. You're from Minnesota. Are you ready for this big snowstorm we got coming?
Oh, bring it on.
She said, let's do it. Ain't scaring me.
I'm more worried about the cold. The snow, that can come.
Well, that's one thing I've heard, especially those of us with like hardware still on our backs. Oh, the cold just sucks so bad.
It does. I'm always in a turtleneck or have a scarf on.
Right. What about dating / married?
Married 26 years.
Oh,
So,
nice. I'll give you one of these for that. Congratulations.
I was married before my injury. It was my husband and my 2 children. My kids were 6 and 7 when I broke my neck. And so it was hard, with all the changes and not being home physically, while I rehabbed. And then when I rehabbed, I wasn't able to come home because we had a standard split level, and that involved stairs.
Right.
Well, I wasn't able to come home until we remodeled the house. So I lived away from him for about 2 years straight.
Wow.
Well, he'd visit and, I'd see the kids. I stayed at my parents' after I had to be released. Um, and he would come there with the kids. He'd stay over on the weekends, but, you know,
Right.
it's hard.
Well, that's good. I mean, at least you got somebody that's with you. I mean, a lot of people. That's why I ask, because a lot of people, if they struggle, they want to know how to do it, or what are they missing out on. And we try to cover everything we can. You know what I mean? So, thank you for sharing that. What about pet peeves?
Having to say excuse me. I feel like I have to say excuse me for everything while I'm driving. I'll
Right.
be driving a wheelchair and it's or excuse me. That's a pet peeve of mine. I don't feel like I should have to say excuse me, but I don't want to run people over either.
Right. People don't want to look down and back all the time either. I say it all the time, especially when you go out. That's why a lot of us, I said this before, that's probably why a lot of us don't like to go out, you know what I mean, into places. Because especially packed public places, like a
No,
Walmart or, a shopping place or something like that.
I
Um,
love this fair.
Thanks for that like, Brandon. Appreciate that. Yeah, the fair's fun, places like that. But anywhere that's like gets tight cramped, like, for instance, I went Christmas shopping, you know what I mean? And when going Christmas shopping inside a Walmart, forget about it. You're going to have to cut through aisles and knock down clothes. And
Oh
I don't
yeah,
care. I just keep going.
I'm that same bull in a tea shop.
Right. Yep. You're like, hey, man, I got to get through here. And if your store's not equipped to handle it, then that's your fault, not mine.
Sorry,
Yep. Exactly.
sorry, sorry.
Um, what is something that you wish you could do now that you can no longer do?
Drive my car with my radio blaring, with the wind blowing, and just feeling that freedom again.
Right. Now, I do know quadriplegics that have driven afterwards. What's stopping you from getting back behind the wheel?
The fear that my arm will get tired and I might cause injury or harm to someone. So that's a big fear. I've looked at it. My right arm has abilities that I use my tenodesis splint, whereas my left arm is lazy lefty. It doesn't do anything.
Oh, okay. I see what you're
So
saying.
my paralysis on my left side is,
It's hard to
very,
trust it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to, if I drive a block, I've got to stop and rest.
Oh man, that's gotta suck. I'm sorry to hear
Yeah.
that.
So makes,
Because I know what you mean. Yeah, about feeling the freedom of actually rolling down. Because it took me forever. I actually got back behind the wheel. I mean, I'm a paraplegic, but like I know the feeling of actually getting back behind the wheel and doing it. I couldn't imagine having to like succumb to like can only use this so much.
right. And, when I was in rehab, it's just not something that my hands and my body will allow.
Right.
So,
For sure. Um, this is just my speaker turning off. If you guys hear that. What is now? The next question is any pain. What's your pain level like?
constant nerve pain from the C3, which is where I'm fused from my C3 to my C6.
Okay.
I'm fused all the way through, and I have nerve pain in my hands, my arms, and up through my shoulders. And then I also have physical pain in my rotator cuff because after so many years of using that one thing that you're able to do everything with, it's now starting to, incorporate itself into the physical pains.
All right.
So, so I'm on a lot of medications. I've been one that's been on the medications, and I'm starting to hear other stories and listen and know that maybe I can get off the gabapentin or, you know, off of the narcotics or opioids that they're trying to push on me,
Right.
to s-
Well, because that's what I take is gabapentin. Um, and I've heard just like you horror stories of people like losing their memory, um, all kinds of crazy stuff. But the thing is, like, I don't know. For me, it's different. I would think because of my back pain, because I have hardware in my back that just constantly hurts. For you, it's nerve pain. So it's like, it's two different types of pain. Everybody has different pains, but it's like if I get off it, then what do I do? You know what I mean? Is there another pill I got to take, or is it like, I don't know. I've actually thought about doing surgery to try to help my pain, maybe get some hardware removed. You ever heard of people doing that?
Oh, I don't know that I'd be able to do that because of the way they have me fused. I mean,
See?
my C5 shattered, so they had to rebuild it from my pelvis.
Oh gosh. So you got
So,
probably hardware all throughout yourself, don't you?
well, when I was finally at the hospital and the surgeon met with my family, he admitted that it's probably the worst he's ever seen in his time as a surgeon and was positive that I wasn't going to move anything from my neck down.
Right. Man.
The fact that I, was able to prove him wrong and, work my right arm and my right hand and,
Right.
if I do some things independently, you know, I can write my name. It makes me proud.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna turn you up a tad bit in my little headphones over here. From what I like to go by a lot is, it could always be worse. That's kind of why I look at it. You know what I mean? Because like I look at other people and the way that they've, even through this wheelchair Wednesday, the way that they do their stuff and how they live their life, and like some people don't have it to where they can even sit up and do anything. So it's like I feel like if we're here and we're making our days positive and even to do something throughout the day to stay productive, I think it's a step in the right direction.
Right.
You know, but I know how hard it is just to get some days just to get up and get out of bed. You know what I mean? It's like you said, if your person don't show up, then what do you do? You know what I mean? Like it's just you're in for a whole day of doing stuff yourself.
Yep.
Um, what about your hobbies? What did you do before your injury?
Camping, fishing, outdoor stuff, a lot of outdoor stuff, bonfires. Um, I still fish. It's adaptive now, and it's different. Travel. I used to travel a lot before my injury. After my injury,
That was my next question too. So you just covered that as well.
oh, I hate them airlines. I've
Oh
had
yeah.
a broken and put in a hover round. Went to Vegas to celebrate my 5 year life anniversary,
Mm-hmm.
and they busted my chair. I ended up in a hover round for a week.
Oh
It was
gosh.
the absolute worst.
I
So,
went from a power chair to a hover round, and it's just like there's no comparison because your chair is built for you,
right,
and the hover round's just a hover round. It's not, you know what I mean? It's not built for somebody with a spinal cord injury.
right, where you need to, raise your feet and shift your weight and
Yeah.
things like that. I had to be tied in with uh, strap so that I didn't fall forward, and
Oh, that's horrible.
it was the worst. But I still travel, just drive places now. Um, Drove to New York, then I've driven to Vegas. So
Okay.
and we go up
So you
north
still
a
do a little
lot.
bit of traveling and stuff, and do a little bit
Yeah,
of
I
fishing.
tried to remain who I was, but a little different.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's kind of part of it, isn't it? Like right when you go through it, you kind of got to say goodbye to your old self and say hi to your new self. And
I'm.
although you're right, what's that?
Oh, I was just gonna say feel like I'm just starting that journey. I'm getting over a lot of my hate and anger for being in the chair, and now I'm ready to move on to the next and change
Right.
it.
Right.
So,
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely one thing you have to do, I would think, in my opinion. You know what I mean? You got to kind of just accept it. And with my buddy that we talked to before, he said embrace the suck, which is pretty much, that's it. You got to embrace the suck and move with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's not much you can do. And we all go through it. Anybody that's been in the hospital that had to wake up from an injury, spinal cord injury, has to make that decision. You know what I mean? And for some people, it might not happen in that hospital. It might take 5-10 years or something. But once you do it, I'm telling you right now, it's a whole better situation. Because you look at what you can do and not at what you can't. You know what I mean?
Right. And then when I was rehabbing, I was too busy rehabbing to think about it, to actually put myself in the position that I was. And then it went to raising kids. And then it was now my kids are grown, and it's me and music and time to figure this out.
There you go. I like it. Yeah, so definitely, I kind of like where your positivity is going. It seems like you have lost it for a long time and you're starting to get it back, is what you're saying.
Finding myself again.
Finding yourself again. There you go. We have live viewers that comment. We got a couple people that says hello. Hello to everybody. Ignis says 13 years and counting and I still can't accept this nightmare. I don't know how or if I ever will. Now, see, that's the thing. Some people, they are bad off, or maybe they don't have a support system. Or, maybe it's just a physical thing. But I always want to have hope for everybody. I think that some way, somehow, there's something out there for everyone to kind of help them over that hump. And whatever it is, I would, say if you haven't seen other episodes of this, go back and check out some of the other people's stories, and hopefully it'll help you. But always stay positive. Look forward to the light at the end of the tunnel. What about my last question that I have for you? What would be the best piece of advice you could give somebody who is newly injured, laying in the hospital bed, looking at the TV, wondering, what's life hold for them? What's the best piece of advice you could give to them?
Keep pushing on. That's the best you can do.
Yep. So. Keep on pushing. I wish I had that sound bite. I'd put that in there. It's a good song.
Because you never know what's possible tomorrow. There's advancements every day. Tomorrow might be that day.
Right. Well, I do appreciate you. Thank you for coming on board and answering some questions. Thank you to all our viewers and live viewers and audio listeners all across the world. And everybody else, I hope you come back for the next Wheelchair Wednesday we got next Friday. If you're interested in becoming a member or want to come on the Wheelchair Wednesday show, let us know. Send me a message, comment below on YouTube or Facebook, and we'll see what we can do to get you on there. Charlotte, thanks for coming along with us. Stay with us real quick. Once we end, I'll talk to you a little bit more. Everybody else, it's good to see you. And we will be back next Wednesday for another Wheelchair Wednesday. See ya.